Well, we are in the absolute shit show stage for most crypto lenders at the moment. The majority of them being in some kind of trouble right now, ranging from the platforms that have actually stopped customers withdrawing funds from the platform to those that are actually getting massive bailouts right now. And as the cookie crumbles, we're actually starting to learn that a lot of these lenders also, in many cases, grossly misrepresented their products to customers and the risks that they were taking with our money. So in today's video, I want to break down this situation for you, update you on what is happening with key crypto lenders, of course, including talking about what's happening with Voyager, Blockfi, and Celsius, and of course, what this all means for crypto. My name's Lark. I make videos on investing. If you do like that topic, then please subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that thumbs up button to let me know you do enjoy this kind of content. Okay, so let's just get straight into this. In the last few weeks, many major crypto lenders have basically crashed and burned. The first big one, of course, was Celsius. More on them later, but we also saw a bunch of other lenders in the wake of Celsius running into trouble actually hitting the rocks as well. Bailouts Finance halted withdrawals shortly after Celsius did. A platform called CoinFlex just halted withdrawals yesterday. Rumors are also circulating about HODLNOT having lost a lot of money during the UST collapse. Nexo is actually one of the few lenders that has not collapsed yet. Not saying that Nexo has problems. We haven't seen any indication of that yet, but does that mean you should run out and YOLO the rest of your money into a Nexo account? No. Just because Nexo hasn't broke yet doesn't mean that it won't. I think now is the time for extra caution. I would personally stay far away from all of these centralized lenders right now. And I'm somebody who used to use Blockfi until they lowered the rates. I used Celsius until, all this crap happened. Over the next few months, maybe we'll see some of these things working themselves out, but I would think twice about putting funds in these platforms again, even if things do work themselves out, because we have learned so much during the collapse of all these about how much they've lied and lied and lied about the risks that they were taking with our money. If you are still in a lending platform that allows you to withdraw your money, then maybe just consider moving your funds off of there until the storm blows over. You might miss out on a few months of interest, even miss out on 6 months of interest until all this settles down. But you also might not lose everything. And then, of course, we come to the crypto bailouts. Voyager apparently had a $500 million under-collateralized loan to 3 Arrows Capital, the crypto hedge fund that just collapsed. They have now issued a notice of default on this incredibly huge position to 3 Arrows. And you have to ask, what was the risk management involved here? Why did they have such a crazy big loan? Anyway, it seems that this one loan basically screwed Voyager, because guess who had to step in? FTX, one of the biggest exchanges in crypto. They stepped in, they bailed them out, and similarly, Blockfi has gone from basically pain to pain, firing staff, being hit with huge fines from the SEC in the USA, gambling and losing on their grayscale Bitcoin bet, which was massively painful, trying to raise funds at a third of their previous valuation and failing to do so, and finally, of course, getting a bailout from FTX, which will likely be an actual takeover of Blockfi, although key investors Morgan Creek are trying to raise funds to counter this offer. Not that that really matters unless you're an equity investor. By the end of the bear market, seems like FTX will have bought up many of the distressed centralized lending platforms. FTX just keeps getting bigger. Good news for Voyager and Blockfi users though. Anyway, real quick before we get into Celsius, every single week my team and I write the Wealth Mastery Investor Report. It comes twice weekly to your inbox. We talk about DeFi, we talk about NFTs, we talk about altcoins, and much, much more. Our subscribers love the newsletter. I'm sure you will too. And you can actually sign up for free using the link down below in the description. Okay, now let's talk about Celsius. This is the big daddy of them and what we know so far regarding the mess that this has caused. So as we all know, Celsius stopped withdrawals back on June 13th, citing extreme market conditions. Now, a lot of allegations have been flying around the rumor mills of social media, and of course, these kind of situations are incredibly stressful. If you have funds stuck on Celsius right now, ouch, it sucks in every way possible. And we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes at the moment, but some people, of course, do want to say Celsius was always just a scam, it was a Ponzi, and I don't really believe that. But I do think that Celsius took on way too much risk and was being pretty damn irresponsible with our money, which is obviously not what we signed up for when using the service. We signed up to a lending service. Somebody wants to borrow our assets, they lend it out on our behalf, take a, fee in the middle, but actually they were operating more like a degenerate hedge fund, aping into DeFi and all kinds of crazy stuff with their money. Now look, there are talk of rescue plans right now, but you also have the vulture funds circling around. But what the heck is really going on? Well, I think there's really two possibilities, assuming it wasn't all just big scam fraud. And honestly, I have no idea which of these two is true, but rumors are circulating that either one could be true. Sources say, sauces. Anyway, first option, Celsius has a liquidity problem. That is to say that Celsius does have your money, they just don't have it right now. Now, they could be in a variety of fixed loans or products with withdrawal periods. So when that bank run started a few weeks ago, basically, they just didn't have the funds available to meet those obligations. There's also the problem with their staked Ethereum position, which is what led me to be paranoid enough to take money off of the exchange, off of Celsius in the first place. But basically, they currently hold over 400,000 staked Ethereum, and currently that is trading at around a 4% difference between that and the price of Ethereum. More importantly, there is very little liquidity for Celsius to be able to exit that position without incurring huge losses. So all those users who deposited Ethereum and want to take Ethereum back off of Celsius, they can't right now because there's not enough liquidity for Celsius to exit their massive staked Ethereum position without causing huge losses, which Celsius simply cannot absorb right now. Not after their other huge losses, especially they've incurred over the last year, things like they lost $50 million worth of Bitcoin in Badger DAO. They lost 27,000 Ethereum in a staking service called Stakehound. So they've taken some big hits already, and this, of course, was the nail in the coffin. Anyway, the good news is if this is all just a liquidity issue, then when the market settles down, withdrawals should open up again. Your funds should be okay. Let us hope, though, that it is not option two. Option two is that Celsius simply does not have the money to pay users back. This is the scenario in which we see a bankruptcy become a very, very likely scenario, and regular users stand to lose, well, potentially everything, which is horrific and absolutely sucks. Because in this possibility, you as a regular depositor are last person in line to get any money back. All the other investors and depositors and debtors and stuff come way before you. You have the vulture funds out there sharpening their beaks in the possibility this could happen. Goldman Sachs are rumored, likely just a rumor, potentially not true, but still floating around social media, to raising $2 billion to buy a forthcoming Celsius bankruptcy. And of course, the resulting fire sale of customer assets. There have been other reports of Celsius hiring restructuring, aka bankruptcy companies, to help them through the process here. Sadly, Celsius keeping complete radio silence. I'm sure their lawyers just told them to shut the heck up, which is terrible for investors who are left asking questions and getting no answers. Anyway, those aren't the only options on the table. We also have Simon Dixon, who is proposing a deal similar to what his company, Bank to the Future, did for Bitfinex back in 2016 after they were hacked for 120,000 Bitcoin. Everybody said, that's the end, Bitfinex is done, it'll never recover. But users were actually given equity. Those equity paid out dividends, and in the end, they may even get their Bitcoin back, which is pretty crazy. All the time, Bitfinex continued to be a top 20 Bitcoin exchange since the time of the hack. So people who lost initially actually won big time in the long run. Maybe this is the kind of solution that's going to save Celsius users, assuming, of course, that Celsius is, actually not just having a liquidity problem, but is actually having an insolvency problem. Anyway, it's probably going to be a while before we know anything concrete, but the wheels are turning in the background. Things are happening. We just don't know a lot of what's happening because of the radio silence. I obviously continue to hope for the best of anybody who still has money stuck in Celsius. And of course, I'm sorry if you ended up there because of me. I was using the service for a long time. I liked the service, and then this crap happens. Anyway, long story short, most of the centralized lenders right now are in bad trouble. Most will not probably survive the bear market. So if you still have money on whatever centralized lender you are using, then consider what the heck you're doing. Take that money out. You can always come back later, but with so much bad stuff happening, so many lenders going under or facing bailouts, why take the risks right now? Anyway, I wish I knew more about what was happening at Celsius. Those are kind of what we know so far, and I will keep you updated as we learn more, but that's where the situation is right now. Anyway, your question for today. What do you think about the Celsius situation? Do you think, well, they were always just a big scam? Or do you think it's just, well, they're just having liquidity problems. They have the money, they just don't have it right now. Or are they actually bankrupt and they don't have the money? Share your opinion down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.